Hi, everyone. Alongside Srikar, Rajendran, I'm Ravi, Kapur. After Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and the Boston Celtics are well on their way to capturing potentially their 18th championship as a franchise after holding home serve and winning against the Mavericks in Game 2. The Mavericks are definitely in this game, but the depth of the Celtics were on display once again.
100%, Ravi. I mean, you look at that first half, Luka Doncic was a man on fire. I mean, over 20 points in that first half itself. I almost thought like it's really just Luka out there. I mean, he's getting no help from anyone on the floor and is seemingly just, backpacking, transporting, whatever you want to call it. He's doing everything himself. And that really just doesn't bode well for Dallas the rest of the series if this is going to be the case. The second half, you mentioned the depth of the Celtics. One key piece that they added over the offseason was Jrue Holiday at point guard to really man and facilitate the offense. And he did exactly that. Probably one of his best offensive outputs of the season, 26 points on 11 of 14 from the field. I mean, you talk about efficiency. Jrue Holiday brought exactly that. And 11 boards to boot. Think about that. 11 boards as a point guard. Like, that's really not something you see very often. So a really impressive double-double from Jrue Holiday. And that addition is really proving key down the stretch here for the Celtics.
You see Jaylen Brown setting up Holiday when he was wide open. Holiday had open looks all game long. And really the Celtics defense, I think, is just tying up Kyrie Irving in knots, at least the first two games. We'll see if Dallas can make an adjustment when they go back home. But Irving, only 16 points, and he's really got to get back to a level of 25 or 30 to keep the Mavericks competitive. It's kind of shocking that these two dynamos offensively, Luka and Kyrie, again, Luka's getting his points, but Kyrie seems to have been slowed down.
Yeah, and I attribute it to it's kind of 50-50 where the Celtics are playing fantastic perimeter defense. I mean, you even look at game one when Luka was off the floor, the game plan for Boston was let's just key in on Kyrie on the perimeter and no one else is going to step up because no one has the offensive bag that Kyrie does to take over a game, right? And in this game, it was more of the same. You just play really good perimeter defense and do your job. But the other 50-50 part of this is the mind games that are being played. You know, Kyrie has not won in Boston in his last 12 games. Like there is some serious, I don't want to say superstitions, but I think there is some mind games being played there where obviously there's that revenge angle that Kyrie Irving has, but it's seemingly never come into form. The Celtics have always just had the better of him, and let's see if he can shake loose from it, but it really doesn't seem to be boding well there either.
Yeah, Irving definitely needs to play better in game three if the Mavericks have any shot at all. Doncic, again, another double-double. Really, it comes down to the depth. We thought the Mavericks had more horses than they seem to at this point. And one guy we talked about in game one, Porzingis, didn't quite have the same level of game in game two. And I think one thing to watch is that it seemed like he tweaked his knee late in the game. And so will he be as effective? He came off the floor down the stretch. They went back to Horford. The Mavericks tried to make a run at that point. The Celtics held them off. Give me a sense the way this is shaping up. I mean, the way Jrue Holiday is playing, a lot of folks thought he might be the guy potentially looking at maybe a Finals MVP. The way he's played in games 1 and 2, he certainly is well on his way.
Honestly, I really don't think there's a clear-cut Finals MVP, but I think you can throw out Porzingis for his Game 1 performance. Jaylen Brown, I think, is the most consistent player and probably the best player on the Celtics. Jason Kidd, Mavericks head coach, was saying it the other day. He thinks that Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Celtics. You can go Tatum, you can go Brown. For my money, I'd take JB. But the thing is, you look at what Jrue Holiday did in this game. If he stacks up another performance like this in game 3 or 4, or really when it comes down to it, maybe a game 5, I think that could really solidify his case. But as of right now, I think Jaylen Brown would honestly be the front runner just off of consistency, just what he's done over the past 2 games. And I think he's just the bigger name, right? And sometimes Finals MVP could come down to that if it's really a tight race there. But all 3 have been splendid so far in these playoffs. You couldn't really ask for more. I think the one area that the Celtics really could have just been better is the three-point shooting. They shot 26% from 3. And that's something that Dallas really should have capitalized on because I don't think the Celtics are going to be shooting that poor from beyond the arc again in this series. So when you're looking at a 2-0 hole now, that's one area where you look back and say, yeah, that's something that we let slip by.
And even though Jason Kidd tried to play some games, don't forget Jaylen Brown and Jason Kidd both went to Cal Berkeley, so
Right.
a little bit of Cal love there. So it's I'm sure it's understandable why he would give props, who's a phenomenal player. And we haven't even talked about Jason Tatum much in this series, but he had 18 tonight. He was solid. But again, I do think Holiday, the way he's playing on the defensive end, and if he's scoring like this, look out. And so the Mavericks are in a big jam heading back to Dallas for Game 3 on Wednesday night. See if they can recover after losing Game 2, 105-98. For Srikar, Rajendran, I'm Ravi Kapur. We'll see you after Game